Now, let's talk about natural vegetation and wildlife. What do you understand by natural vegetation? Now, before beginning with this, let's see a story of exhibition on handicrafts. Some school children were visiting an exhibition on handicrafts. The articles in the exhibition were collected from different parts of the country. Mona, a young girl, picked up a bag and exclaimed, "This is so beautiful handbag, and it is made from jute," the teacher said. Do you know these baskets, lampshades, chairs, those are made up of canes and bamboos? Now, in the eastern part and northeastern part of the humid regions in India, bamboo grows in plenty. Now, there was also silk scarf which was very beautiful. The teacher explained that silk is a material which is obtained from silkworms, which are bred on mulberry trees. And the children understood that plants provide us with many resources and a lot of products are made from these resources which come from nature. Now, natural vegetation and wildlife exists only in a narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, and this zone is known as biosphere. The coexistence of plants and animals is known as biosphere. Now, in the biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent for each other's survival. This life supporting system is known as ecosystem. Now, what is the importance of natural vegetation? Plants provide us with timber, and this timber is used to make houses. The forests and these trees, they also provide a shelter to most of the animals and birds. These plants produce oxygen which then we use for breathing. And also the trees and plants, they avoid soil erosion. It is very essential for growing crops and act as shelter belts and help in shortage of, it also helps in storage of underground water resources. Gives us resources and things like fruits, vegetables, nuts, latex, terpene oil, rubber, gum, medicinal plants, paper, etc. Now, there are innumerable uses of plants and we can add some more. What do you think? What are the uses of plants? Now, here you see a silkworm. A silkworm is reared on mulberry trees and the yarn that he leaves is used to make the silk cloth. Now, here is a Brahma Kamal, which is a plant, a flower which is used for making medicines. Now, what is the importance of wildlife? All the animals, organisms that inhabit these forest areas are known as wildlife. They include birds, insects, aquatic life forms and animals. They provide us with milk, meat, hides, wool and n number of things that we use directly or indirectly in our lives. Insects such as bees, they form honey which we use to consume. They also help in pollination of flowers and play a major role in decomposers in the ecosystem. The birds feed on insects and act as decomposers as well. Vultures, due to its ability to feed on dead livestock, is a scavenger and considered a vital cleanser of the environment. Animals, whether big or small, are an integral part for maintaining the balance in our ecosystem. Here is an image of a blue kingfisher. Now, did you know the vultures in the Indian subcontinent were dying of kidney failure? Now, did you know that vultures in the Indian subcontinent were dying due to kidney failure? Now, why was that so? Because they were feeding or scavenging on livestock which is treated by diclofenac. Diclofenac is a chemical composition used in medicines as painkillers. It is not extremely harmful to us, but in longer period it has its side effects. Similarly, this painkiller such as aspirin, ibuprofen or diclofenac was resulting in kidney failure in vultures. Therefore, efforts were made to ban this drug for use on livestock and breed vultures in captivity. Now, let's talk about distribution of natural vegetation. Where is the natural vegetation located? The growth of vegetation, plants, trees depend on temperature and moisture of that place. The major vegetation types of the world are grouped as forests, grasslands, shrubs and tundra. Now, grasslands and forests are wide land masses which are covered with grasses and trees. Forests are the areas with heavy rainfall and huge trees that thrive. They are associated with areas having abundant water supply, whereas grasslands are the land masses which are covered with grasses. The amount of moisture decreases here and the size of trees and their density also reduces. Stunted trees and grasses grow in the regions of moderate rainfall, forming the grasslands of the world. Now, shrubs. Shrubs are thorny shrubs or the plants which are low in height, and they mainly grow in dry areas with low rainfall. Some area plants have deep roots and leaves with thorny and waxy surface to retain water. Now then, tundra is the vegetation that grows in cold polar regions. It comprises mainly of mosses and lichens. The facts. Today there are many people in the world, and then there were 2 centuries back, because the population is increasing drastically. To feed these many people, large areas of forests are being cut down and cleared to grow crops. Forest cover all over the world is vanishing rapidly, and there is a need to conserve these forests. Now, how can we conserve natural vegetation and wildlife? Forests are our wealth. They are the golden resources. Plants give us shelter, and not only to us but also to animals, and they form and maintain the ecosystem. Changes in climate and human interference is resulting in loss of natural habitats for these animals. Many species have become vulnerable or even endangered, and some are on the verge of extinction. Now, what are the factors that are responsible for loss of natural vegetation? Factors such as deforestation, clearing of forest areas for agriculture purposes, forest fires, constructional activities that are done in the masses where there once was a forest, tsunamis in coastal areas destroy a lot of forest and natural vegetation, and landslides which are more prone of happening in higher altitude areas. These processes accelerate the extinction of resources. Now, what are our major concerns? Poaching. Poaching is resulting in sharp decline in number of species. A lot of people poach animals in order to use them and sell their parts, such as skin, tusks of elephant, the horns of rhinoceros, etc. Then, the animals are poached for collecting an illegal trade of their hides, skins, nails, teeth, horns and feathers as well. Some of these animals which are suffering are tiger, lion, elephants, black buck, deer, crocodiles, rhinoceros, snow leopard, ostrich and peacock. Now, how can we conserve them? This can be conserved by increasing awareness among people, and also by building national parks and areas, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves in order to protect our natural vegetation and wildlife. Conservation of creeks, lakes, wetlands is necessary to save precious resources from depletion. Then, there needs to be a balance in the environment in the way that the species and their level of existence does not get disturbed. Now, it is time to remember. Now, what is a national park? It is a natural area which is designed and designated to protect the ecological integrity of one or more ecosystems. A lot of species of plants and animals coexist in these domains. Biosphere reserves are protected areas and they are linked through global networks intended to demonstrate the relationship between conservation and development.